Hello everybody. Hello. Welcome to Fulham. This is my dear friend Aideen. Super excited to have you on live from a London bus, joining me in my mission to get the whole world riding on a London bus.
I used to hate going on buses, and Charley, she said something very inspirational to me. She said, "Why do you hate going on buses? Buses are the same as your house, except they're moving." And I realised then, instead of being resentful of the time I spent on buses, I could read a book, I could go on my phone. You can't do that on the tube. So she made me have I grow, as we say in Ireland, a love of buses, which I carry on to this very day.
And you've chosen your favourite bus route in London, haven't you? What route have you chosen today?
So I've chosen the number 14.
Has anyone been on the number 14 before? Let us know in the comments. What a fantastic route it is. So coming up to the Fulham Road now. Lovely buildings on the Fulham Road. Really nice part of London. Not a part of London I spend a lot of time in myself. We're going to get the 14 from here. You can see we've 3 buses running from here. The 211, the 414 and the 14. I'm going to show you the map here. We're going from Fulham Broadway. And we're probably going to get off, as I say, depending on time, maybe the British Museum or Russell Square. What we're going to do is we're going to sit here, and then when they move, we'll run ahead. The thing is, the first rule of bus etiquette in London is if you get on the bus, you always take these seats.
Yeah,
And it's like, I've realised that if you stop taking those seats at the front, you've lost passion for life.
That's so true.
You know, like if a man is tired of London, he's tired of life. If a man doesn't take the front seat at the top of the bus,
he's not a man.
He's not a man.
Dump his ass. Yeah.
This is the entrance to the Brumpton Cemetery, guys, just here. Lovely. Flanked by 2 beautiful Giles Gilbert Scott telephone boxes.
Yeah, no, like it is truly an amazing city. So you're right when you say when you're tired of London, you're tired of life. There's always something to do. There's the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital.
There you go, on the right-hand side here, Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. And this is the Fulham Road, isn't it? And were you telling me that there's a lot of good charity shops and stuff around here?
This is the best place for charity shops in London, I would say. There should be a lot of very wealthy people, but a lot of oligarchs' wives and people live around here. So, you know, they have all this designer stuff in the charity shops, and you get it carefully. You can get some really nice things. I got a Dolce & Gabbana coat for not that much money. Yeah, it's well worth it.
Look at that bookshop there. I just wanted to point out that bookshop. That's been there 40 years, that bookshop. And there you can get manuscripts and drawings, writings from the medieval period. And incredible stuff in there. It's been there 40 years, family owned. Red little bookshop there on the corner.
I was Googling, and they have a book about Martin Luther. I suppose it was named after him, for £49,000.
£49,000.
So just a hint if you want to give me something for my birthday, Charlie.
So we're heading towards the Kensington area now, which you may know is where a lot of the museums are concentrated. South Kensington.
Oh, that is Bela Bartok, the Hungarian composer. Now, I don't really know why it's there. I don't think he had a connection with England. I think he was alive during the times of the Iron Curtain, possibly a bit before.
Look at beautiful South Kensington Station there, beautiful glazed brickwork.
This is a great place for people watching here. You always see kind of stylish Londoners walking around. I absolutely love it.
Coming up straight ahead, we have the Natural History Museum.
Yay! Cromwell Place. I was really shocked when I came to England. There are so many places named after Cromwell. Because in England he's a bit revered because he was a Republican and he was a brilliant military tactician. But in Ireland he would be the most hated man in Ireland. He came to Ireland and he laid siege in different places. He exiled a lot of Irish people. He press ganged a lot of them to the Caribbean. And then he sent a lot of them to Connacht. There's a phrase, to hell or to Connacht, famous phrase, basically vanquishing people so he could give his soldiers land.
If you were to go down there, you would see all the different museums, like the entrance to the Science Museum, and if it went a bit further up, you'd get to the Royal Albert Hall. Now we're passing the V&A. The V&A that was designed by Aston Webb. Have a look at the lovely entrance and detail on that, the Victoria and Albert Museum. The best museum, and it's free to enter. to learn about art and design. Coming into the very affluent area now of Knightsbridge, where there's a lot of money, and you're going to see a very famous department store coming up on your right in just a moment. The famous Harrods department store in famous red brick.
Brilliant. Back
in the game, guys.
Yeah, Harrods is so iconic. When I went on this famous trip to London with my sisters and my mother in 1995, we went to Harrods and I bought a pencil eraser and I kept that plastic Harrods bag for years afterwards. I used to bring it on school trips with my sandwiches in it and stuff. And it was strange because my mother was wearing shorts and they said to me, you can't wear shorts in Harrods. So she had to put a jumper around her waist. And then she had a backpack on and they said, no, you have to pretend that's a handbag and carry it. They were very strict about dress code. I don't know if they're as strict about dress code anymore.
Yeah, there are stories of, Americans getting turned away for wearing shorts and then being incredibly wealthy and annoyed. You are supposed to dress smart. I don't know if they still enforce that. The whole idea of Harrods used to be that you could get anything you wanted from this department store. It was started as a grocer by Mr. Harrod back in the 1800s. But then it grew in prestige to be this place, as I say, that you could get anything you wanted. And it's a very famous story of Christian the Lion, bought from the pet department at Harrods. I love the architecture of some of these lovely tops of the buildings. I think the best thing about riding on the bus is rather than looking at all those stores and thinking about what you can't afford, you can look up here and just marvel at some of the beautiful architecture. Yeah. The thing about London is how the buildings are pushed together. You get stone next to brick next to this lovely glazed tile work, all different colours, and they just seem to kind of match but not match, if you see what I mean. Beautifully. So much charm to them. Yeah, most of those will be office buildings. Not too many people live around here, but someone that does live around here is the person that lives in the most expensive flat in number 1 Hyde Park. And see that building there, Aideen? Yeah. It's not much to look at. It looks quite plain and glass.
It does,
but in there you've got this incredible... It's about the size of a mansion. The fact that calling it a penthouse doesn't quite do it justice, but it's the most expensive in the world. And it has views over Hyde Park. Apparently the most expensive apartment in the world. Look at the way the light's bouncing on the buildings up there.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, lovely time of day. Twilight time of day here in London. The sun will go down in about an hour or so. You can see that building that's being touched by the light there is another hotel. It's the famous Lanesborough Hotel, formerly the St George's Hospital in Tooting, which is now in Tooting, sorry. But we were talking about earlier, how mad is that this hospital now is probably one of the other most expensive hotels in London, a suite at about £17,000 per night, where you get a butler, a chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce to take you around London, just a former hospital.
Yeah, it's true. It seems like, maybe it's because it seems like Victorian architecture was so good. Like the school that I worked around here, it was a normal state school, but the building was so beautiful, and it's just that typical Victorian red built building, made to last. It was lovely inside as well. The Victorians seem to know how to build things for a long time.
That's number 1 London, called number 1 London, because it was the first building you saw as you came up from the west in London. It's Apsley House. We're going to look at the Wellington Arch now. Look at that beautiful Wellington Arch, designed by John Nash. On the top, that's the largest freestanding bronze sculpture. The Duke of Wellington is the most statued man.
Is he? Okay.
Plaque to Francis Barrard, who in 1899 at 126 Piccadilly completed his famous painting of the Nipper, which became known as his master's voice, or you might know it as HMV, the famous record store, where there's still a flagship store on Oxford Street. His master's voice famously depicted its logo with a dog listening to a gramophone. Passing Green Park on our right here. Green Park was originally a burial place for lepers, and this was unlike a lot of the other royal, no flower beds or anything. Any of the gardeners didn't want to go and start digging around these leper corpses, so there's kind of a spooky feeling about it, so it remains Green Park.
That's interesting, because I always thought like calling it Green Park was like calling a river the Wet River.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Ritz Hotel, 5-star hotel. Margaret Thatcher did die in here. The Barclay brothers who owned it gave Margaret Thatcher a apartment here in grace and favour to live out the last few years of her life. And it was said that sometimes you could wander into the reception hall and see her tinkling away on the piano. Coming down Piccadilly now. Do you know what a Piccadilly is?
I don't.
A Piccadilly is one of those Elizabethan collars that we were talking about earlier. Stiff collars like you'd see Shakespeare wear. Piccadills were very, very popular in Elizabethan times, and Thomas Piccadill had a famous shop here that sold them. They were a very popular product, and Piccadilly and Piccadilly Circus got its name from the Piccadill.
Do you know what? I used to always call them a rough. No, but a Piccadilly is such a better word. I think we should bring them back.
Piccadilly Arcade there, Piccadilly Arcade, you've got Burlington Arcade on the left there, these very posh kind of shopping malls, old-fashioned shopping malls. Fortnum and Mason!
Yeah, you got me lovely presents from Fortnum and Mason when you came to Ireland.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
In typical Irish fashion, my mother still has those tins.
Of course she
and
does.
she puts things in them and keeps them up in pride of place, so people will know that we have guests give us things from Fortnum and Mason.
Well, and I think it's got the best afternoon tea in London. Don't go to the Ritz, go to Fortnum and Mason's. It's really classic, really beautiful.
That's a good tip from the top.
My buy me a coffee link, if you want to buy me and Aideen a coffee at the end of this tour, you'd be very, very welcome to. We'll stop for a coffee and we'll thank you graciously if you do so. Please do find the link in the description, buy me a coffee, and donate as little or as much as you like. And here we are, Piccadilly Circus. This was the first outdoor electric lighting in the world, erected in 1910.
Amazing. Beautiful. This is another thing that absolutely mesmerised me when I came to London.
Coming down Shaftesbury Avenue now, Shaftesbury Avenue, famous for its theatres. We have 6 representing the 6 wives of Henry VIII. I'm going to see that soon. We have Jamie, Les Miserables, one of the longest running shows. Chinatown on our right, lovely Chinatown, looking lovely with all the lanterns. To Soho on our left, which is the area of London known for its gay clubs, for its bars, for its restaurants, and there's a lot of al fresco dining. Just have a lovely look into this entranceway to Chinatown now. Gerard Street. Chinatown, as you can see by the street names, is one of, well, there's 2 places where there's a 2-language system. You can see Gerard Street in Chinese underneath the English.
Yeah.
Very, very different, of course, to Soho, which is like a village in itself. You know the one thing that makes Soho very village-like? No buses.
Oh yeah, of
You
course.
go there, no buses, even for an area right in the centre of London.
Yeah.
No buses. Coming up to the Tottenham Court Road area now, you've got this lovely new extension for the tube. This has all been, they've been working on this for ages because they're developing part of the Crossrail rail development around here. Dominion Theatre, currently showing the Prince of Egypt there on the right, and we're making our way rapidly down Tottenham Court Road. So we're in the area, we're in the London Borough of Holborn here, but this whole area would be known as Bloomsbury. You might have heard of the Bloomsbury set, have you?
No.
Virginia Woolf was a
Oh,
member
yeah.
meeting in different houses discussing literature and academia. Here we have the British Museum, ladies and gentlemen. This lovely,
Beautiful.
iconic building with...
Is the Coptic church around here?
yeah, I think it is just around the corner.
Yeah.
Look at these lovely Georgian houses here. They're lovely big windows and their fan lights as we come into Bloomsbury proper.
Lots of small hotels here.
Oh, there are, yeah, you're right.
Stayed in a few of those in my time. You can get quite reasonable hotels. They're very basic, but
Yeah.
their location is great.
They're kind of strange. They're
Yeah.
sort of...
And a lot of the time they'll be run by Greek people.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, this is our final stop. We're at Russell Square. We made it. Look at this. Lillian Lindsay, the first woman dentist to qualify in Britain, lived here. Lovely. You don't get many blue plaques to women, but they're increasing and there's more and more all the time. So have a look at that. That is Lillian Lindsay.
I thought for a second it was Lindsay Lohan. And
I
I
was
bit
hope-
early for
Bit
that.
early.
I'm not saying she doesn't deserve
She
one.
deserves a plaque. Here we have the cabbie huts. You know that we talked about horse-drawn carriages. The Hackney carriages, which is still the name given to black cabs, were of course, like the buses were, pulled by horses. And those horses would have needed water and hay. And these huts here originally functioned to provide that sustenance to those
I never
hungry
knew what they
horses.
were. These are so cute.
And now they actually function as kind of little informal cafes for exclusively cab drivers. Now you can get a cup of tea from here if you come up to the window here. You'll see it's cash only, and you'll see there's quite a nice selection available here. But if you wanted to sit in, in the shelter itself, or there is a bit of space there and some seats, you would have to be a cab driver.
how
Me
do
and
they
you will
know?
allow. Well, you park up in your cab, I suppose,
Oh, I
and also
suppose,
they
yeah.
have a license around
Yeah,
their
of
neck.
course, yeah.
But it's a really lovely one. They've really made an effort with some of
Yeah,
the
it's really
plants and so on. And we're going to go into Russell Square's gardens now and just finish our tour up here. We're going to go and sit here in the middle of Russell Garden Square and just have a little reflective moment as we hope you've enjoyed the number 14. I certainly did enjoy that route. Thank you for suggesting the 14.
No problem
Such
at
an
all.
epic route.
It's a great route, isn't it?
All the way through South Kensington there, past all the museums, past Harrods, past Knightsbridge. Yeah, all the way through, up past the British Museum. It's better than a lot of the sightseeing routes.
It is,
a
and
proper...
you could drop off and you could go down to all the Royal Albert Hall and all of those places. This is where it all ends.
Aideen, it's been a real pleasure to be on a bus with you. To be honest, I don't know why we haven't used this as a way to socialise before.
It's a great way to socialise.
Boring to sit in a cafe. Why don't we just, get on a bus, choose a different route every time?
We should do that until we eventually get to like routes in Slough and places like that.
Yeah.
The 72A.
Oh yeah, no,
My favourite
exactly.
route.
Some of them that go out, like the single deckers that go out to Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
I will see you next week. Bye guys.